Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling. Tonight, we will thrift, we will flip, we will make coffee house decor, and we're gonna bake. But not like you think.
This is my coffee house. I'd like to thank my co-hosts, Natalie from Sparks of Joy Studio, Monica from Up All Night DIY, and Mary from The Painted Peach. You're going to find the links to their channels and this playlist in my description box below. We have arrived. We are at my favorite resale shop. Let's get in there and see what's new. If you've watched any of my recent videos, you know I've been on a bottle kick. Look at these little guys, these little half piners. Aren't they sweet? And hey, milk, coffee, right? It works. Ooh, look at this one. This would look so amazing with my mercury glass technique on it. I might have to get it. What else you got? Look at this. 2 boxes of tile. I think they're 8x8s. Funny thing is, I was planning on using tile in one of my projects, but I already have tile, so we're gonna put these back, so moving on. That's cute. I like too much. There's too much. $2. This thing is heavy too. It's not real flimsy. Super cute. Evidently was at Goodwill first. Get it? No. Nope. Put it in the, no. Put it back, Dawn. Put it back. You got a cartload. Put it back. I'm done here. I gotta go to Goodwill. And I did put that back. I did. I swear. Look at that. That's a gem. But I don't use real candlesticks very much anymore, so we'll put it back. This is cool too. It's cute. It looks a little flimsy and I have stuff like it, so nope. But that is why I'm here. I found one. That's a candle warmer. I am getting this, and it's not to warm candles. It's to keep my coffee warm. Okay, this is a totally different trip to Goodwill. I made a little template, and I'm looking for a mug to fit my coffee warmer. It is a coffee warmer. And this little blue mug, I think, is going to fit just perfect in that little well, and it will keep my coffee warm. And it's a red tag, and it's a red tag week. So I'm getting this little coffee mug for half off. Woohoo! Let's go home and make some coffee. This caught my eye as I was leaving. It's pretty cute. It's pretty darn cute, but you know what? I could make it, and I'm not getting another thing today. We're going home. Coffee has been made, and now it's time to get to work. My first project starts with this frame, and I really like it. I really do. The rattan's cool. It is a solid oak frame, a little outdated, but we're going to take care of that. This isn't the focal point of this project anyway. This is just a little something that's going to go with it, even if it's just temporary. But I need to do a few things to this frame. I need to get the glass out, I need to get the hanger off, and then we need to see what's gonna go in the frame. The plan is to frame this wall tile. Yeah, it's wall tile. And no, I'm not gonna leave it plain, because why? Why would I do that? I don't know. But here's the thing. My frame that I want to use for it, and keep in mind this is temporary because this tile will probably eventually get put on the wall. The tile is too small for my frame, which means the frame has to be altered. I am going to have to cut it down right about there to make it fit. So disassemble and then reassemble. During the process of disassembling, this is what I encountered. Do you see that? That is a metal plate. The corners are attached by a metal plate. I have never seen such a well-constructed pain in my fanny frame in my life. So I need to get the other side disassembled and then it can be cut down. It's disassembled and cut down. But look at these plates. Have you ever? I have never have I ever. Take a drink of coffee. Have I ever seen metal plates in the corners of frames? This frame is something else. Now I need to put it back together. You may notice that I have an angled piece of trim taped just with painter's tape to the front side of my frame. This is so when I am gluing the frame back together, it sits at the same angle as the rest of the frame and it doesn't fall over. I need those miter cuts to join up absolutely perfect so the wood glue can adhere. Once I get it into place, I'm gonna hold it there for a while. Because of all the weird angles, I am not able to clamp the new piece into place. It can't happen. It just can't happen. So I just need to show a little patience and hold this thing in place until it starts to bind. My frame is back in one piece, but I need to do a little prep work before I can go any further. I am using a Rust-Oleum cabinet deglosser to degloss my frame. This oak frame has quite a sheen to it and I want my paint to adhere, and if I sand it, I might hit my little rattan and I don't want to mess that up. So the deglosser is the way to go. I give the entire frame a good scrubbing and then I'll let it set for probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Then I will come back, scrub it again, and then rinse away all the residue. I will wipe it down a couple of times to make sure all of the deglosser has been removed. Once it's dry, we can proceed to the next step. And it's not what you think. We're not gonna paint next. Nope. Just you wait and see. My frame is dry and now it's time to really transform it. Even though I like the rattan, I don't like the look of it for what I'm going to be putting in it, that tile. I want the rattan to look more like burlap, like an old gunny sack, like a coffee bag. You know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm going to fill in all of the little recesses in that rattan with one time. I am not filling this in all the way smooth. I don't want to lose the little ridges that give off the impression of dimension. I want this to look more like fabric. So I am just filling in the little gaps, and that's all. I will also be using my one time to fill in any gaps that may have been left behind by putting this frame back together. And once I have everything filled in that I want filled in, I'm going to set it aside to dry. Now everything has dried thoroughly. It is time to paint, and I am using my exterior flat black Color Place house paint. I love this paint. You know, I use it all the time, and it really goes a long way. I can't stress enough. If you paint a lot, especially with one specific color, get yourself a gallon of paint. You will save yourself a ton of money. This stuff covers. It was made to cover houses and outdoor products. So yes, it is going to be a really good paint for you. I begin by giving the back a good coat. Once I get the back finished, I will flip her over, once it's dry of course, and I will paint the front. Everything except for my burlap, that will get painted a different color. Now it's time to paint the burlap. I want my burlap to look old and rustic. Keep in mind, this frame is just going to be a temporary thing for that tile, so I want to be able to use it later in another project. What I'm using here is a Waverly chalk paint, and the color is hazelnut. I am just hitting what I am now calling burlap. That section that I'm calling burlap. It's not rattan anymore. In my mind, it's burlap. So I'm going to give it a really nice coat. It doesn't matter if I get it totally covered, because once I'm finished with this coat, I will be antiquing it. Not the entire frame, just my burlap. And what I will be using will be a Hello Hobby dark brown antique finishing wax. Once my frame is complete, we get to have some real fun. We get to start working on that tile. First thing I need to do to prep my tile is to give it a very thorough cleaning. Then we need to figure out a design. I am just going to do a very vague sketch of what I want to put on my tile. This tile will probably be actually put on the wall in my coffee bar area, which means it should have a coffee cup, and then maybe a little saying. And I'm thinking, rise and shine, coffee nook. And if I can get that on my tile, I think I'll be pretty darn happy. Once I have a basic design plan, I'm going to jump into Canva and recreate it. This is what it looks like. I will be using the letters and only the letters as a template. I printed that image out and I cut it apart and I am rearranging it on my tile to see how I like it. And I like it, I really do. Now I need to take it a step further and I am going to cut out each and every one of these letters individually, and then I will transfer them onto cardboard to use as a stencil. You can see I have already created my coffee cup and saucer and even some steam that's coming out the top. The steam is going to be the and. Rise and shine. Some mornings I'll rise, but I definitely refuse to shine. I don't do mornings. Who gets up in the morning? Not me. When I have all of my little cardboard stencils prepared, I can once again lay out my pattern and then we can start to trace them. The most important thing is to make sure everything is straight and centered. That's why I lay out the big letters first and my coffee mug. I need to make sure I have enough room at the bottom for the coffee nook and enough at the top for the rest of the rise and shine. Once I get everything the way I want it, where I want it, I will use some painter's tape to tape everything into place. Here we go. It's go time. It's time to trace my letters. I am using a very fine point Sharpie, black Sharpie, to do so. If you make a mistake, you can get it off, but it's not easy without messing up the rest of your design. So you want to really, really take your time and be very careful when tracing all of your letters. Once I have a letter traced, I remove my stencil and I begin to fill it in. Just like a coloring book. It's that easy. It really is. I am using a larger Sharpie for the fill-in, but it still has a nice fine point. Once I finish one letter, I move on to the next, while trying to avoid the letter I just finished, because the ink is still wet, so you need to let it dry before you touch it in any way. Here's what it looks like partway done. I wanted to give you a little peek-see ahead of time. Hey, look at there. Coffee warmer, wah, wah, wah. And it works. I mean, it doesn't keep it hot, but it keeps it nice and warm. So think about that. Yeah, okay, back to work. Once all my letters are complete, then I need to turn my attention to that coffee cup because it needs a design. Can't be solid black, can't be white with just a black outline. It needs something more. The design that I want to put on my coffee cup is going to mimic something that I did previously. I created these tile quite a few years ago, and the goal is to eventually have enough to tile a wall or part of a wall or maybe my coffee nook, right? Well, the way I designed these is so they would link together in one continuous pattern. And I want to use part of this pattern on my coffee mug, these little flowers. I really like these little flowers. So that is what I'm going to attempt to do. I also created some border tile and I'm going to incorporate some of the design on one of my border tile onto the coffee cup and saucer as well. This teeny tiny little edging, I'm going to put it around the top of my coffee cup and around the perimeter of my coffee saucer. I will also add some highlights, some stripes, and some little circles. Once I get my design sketched out, I will transfer it over onto my tile. Once that coffee cup is complete, it is going to go into the oven. Yes, we're going to bake the design into the tile. The tile will go in with the oven cold. I will set my oven for 400 degrees. I will bake the tile for an hour, and then I am going to turn the heat up to 450 degrees and let it bake for another hour. Then I will shut the oven off and let the tile cool inside the oven. Once my tile has completely cooled down, then you can do the last step with your Sharpies. You are going to retrace every single line and every area that you colored in with your Sharpie one more time. The reason for this is because when your tile is in that oven, the ink is going to absorb into the glaze of the tile and it is going to get splatchy. And you don't want a splatchy tile. You want it to be crisp and clean. So you will retrace, you will color in everything you previously did. Then it's going back in the oven one more time. It will go in cold. You will turn the oven to 275 and you're gonna bake it for a long time at this low heat. I baked mine for 4 hours. Once again, you shut off the oven and you let the tile cool down inside the oven. Once you're finished, you should have a cleanable tile. You should be able to take a soapy sponge and clean your tile. You don't want to use anything abrasive, but I have scrubbed the heck out of these things and they're pretty durable. So that tells me that you can use these as trivets in a tray, in a frame, and potentially on a wall. Make sure they're totally cleanable before you do anything permanent. Here's a little peek of my tile in the oven. While I was thrifting, I also found this. I picked it up at my favorite resale shop and it was only $3. This is old. This is from 1973 and it is a coffee liqueur bottle. Isn't it cool? I mean, I love that it looks like an old coffee pot. This is from the LaRue Liquor Company. The finish on this reminds me of that dark brown glaze that's on the Hall pottery, and I love that old Hall pottery. There is absolutely nothing wrong with my bottle, with the exception that it has no label. So I found some images of what the labels would have looked like, and I sent those images over to Canva. This is the image I chose. I sized it and I printed it out. Because I wanted my label to look old, I wanted it to look antique, I chose to print it off on this antique aged paper. I love this stuff. There's 2 different kinds in here, and I know I bought it on Amazon, and if I can find the link, I'll add it in the description box. Once I have my label cut out, I am going to Mod Podge it. I'm getting the podge out. I haven't had the podge out in a few weeks, and she was nagging me. She goes, I want to be in a video. So yeah, we are gonna Mod Podge this label onto my old bottle. Once I've made sure my label is on securely and straight, I will let it dry, and then I'm gonna come back and coat the top of the label with a dishwasher safe Mod Podge, just in case I want to use it as a vase. I don't want my beautiful label coming off. One more project and a couple more thrifted items. I picked up this little glass teapot for $2.99. Isn't it cute? Oh my goodness, it's almost like a cloche. I love it. And I picked up this little metal music box. Technically not a box, but it's musical. So there you go. It was also $2.99, and both items were picked up at the Goodwill. I am going to clean off the writing on the top of that little music box. I will remove the cork base from my glass teapot, and then I am going to lightly sand the edge of the base of that teapot because there is a little tiny chip out of it, and I don't want any issues. So with a very fine sandpaper, I will lightly sand the edges of my little teapot. I do have a box underneath the teapot as I sand to catch any tiny fragments of glass that are going to be sanded free from the teapot. Nobody wants glass fragments in their hands or their feet. Safety first. Once I finish sanding, we're going outside. Here we have just one area where I have little hens and chicks. I am going to dig a few up so that I can display them underneath my little glass teapot cloche.
Everything's complete, and I could use a cup of coffee. But first, we need to take a look at my projects.
Look at my little teapot cloche with those little hens and chicks inside. I actually potted them inside a vintage ball jar lid, so the metal's coordinated. And I really like the little feet on my music box. It almost looks like a little percolator. If I would have had a vintage cloth-covered power cord, I would have added it. I'll keep my eyes open while thrifting. I can add it at any time. And how about that LaRue coffee liqueur bottle? I think that label looks legit. It looks just like all the ones that I saw online, because it is. I simply printed one off and added it. Now it looks like it probably did when it was manufactured. What a simple and effective project. This bottle went from bland to beautiful. I think we need to check out our tile. I have to say, I'm rather pleased with the outcome of this tile. It could definitely go on the wall, surrounded by some of those other tile that I've made. I just need to make a whole lot more. Here I have it displayed with that vintage enamelware percolator. Yeah, you might remember it from this video. I'll leave the link in the description box to see what I did to the other side. I have it temporarily in that frame that we converted, and all I need to do is take it out if I want to change it up and put it on the wall or use that frame for another project. I like the way the frame came out. I like the dimension and the color so much better than that real light oak wood. These tiles are definitely a project you could do with your kids. And how fun would that be? Just get some inexpensive tile either at the hardware store or while thrifting. You saw I even found some, and put some Sharpies in their hands and let them go crazy. Then you do the baking. I hope you give this a try. It was a whole lot of fun. I think next time I do it, I am gonna play with some colored Sharpies. See what kind of look I get with that. That should be interesting. This has been my coffee house. I would like to again thank my co-hosts Natalie, Monica, and Mary for joining me tonight. You're gonna find the links to their channels and this playlist in my description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, and share. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and don't forget to check out my shop on Etsy. Ring the bell for notifications of all my upcoming videos. Subscribe. You know you wanna, and it's a fabulous way to support my channel. Join. It's even a better way to support my channel, and all my members get special perks each month. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.